Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Movement Radio. I am Chip Hazard, and today we're going to step into the shadows of the DC universe. Normally, the Justice League stands for hope, teamwork, and saving the world from impossible odds. But sometimes the stories about these heroes go in a much darker direction, filled with betrayal, tragedy, and apocalyptic stakes. So buckle up because today we're breaking down the 10 darkest Justice League stories ever told. And we're going to start off with 2000's Justice League of America Tower of Babel. So Batman's paranoia comes back to haunt the League in this classic storyline, convinced that no one is above failure, not even gods and heroes. Batman secretly creates contingency plans to neutralize each and every member of the Justice League just in case they ever go rogue. The problem, those plans fall into the hands of Ra's al Ghul, who wastes literally no time putting them to deadly use. Superman blinded by red kryptonite, Aquaman driven into a crippling fear of water, Martian Manhunter set ablaze, Wonder Woman locked into an endless mental battle that she can never win. While the League does eventually regroup and stop Ra's al Ghul, the damage is done. The true darkness here isn't Raz's plot. It's Batman's betrayal of his team's trust. If the world's greatest detective can't trust his friends, what does that say about the foundation of the League itself? Second, from 2004, Identity Crisis. So few stories shook the Justice League as deeply as Identity Crisis. It begins with the shocking murder of Sue Divney, the beloved wife of Elongated Man. The emotional impact of her death reverberates through the entire superhero community. But the real darkness emerges when secrets hidden for years come to light. The League is revealed to have secretly mind wiped villains and even Batman in order to protect themselves. The ethical violations, betrayals of trust, and breakdowns of relationship cast long shadows over the team. While the mystery of Sue's murder drives the plot, it's the fallout from these moral compromises that cements Identity Crisis as one of the bleakest chapters in Justice League history. Next, from 2005, we have Infinite Crisis. Now, Infinite Crisis takes the League to its breaking point, and it does so by twisting ideas into corruption. Characters who once stood for hope, like Superboy Prime, become terrifying threats. Superboy Prime's violent rampage leaves multiple heroes dead and mutilated, with some of the bloodiest battles in DC's history. Meanwhile, Alexander Luthor manipulates reality itself in an effort to fix what he sees as a broken universe. The Justice League isn't just fighting villains here, they're fighting against a corrupted vision of what their own mission stands for. It's heroes betraying heroes, idealists becoming monsters, and the League itself questioning whether their fight for truth and justice still matters in a fractured world. Infinite Crisis is both cosmic in scope and deeply personal in its consequences. Next up, from 2009, we have Justice League Cry for Justice. Cry for Justice takes a grim approach to the Justice League concept. Hal Jordan and Oliver Queen, frustrated by villains constantly escaping justice, form a new, more proactive league with the mission of hunting down threats before they can strike again. At first, the idea feels like an evolution of the League's purpose, but it quickly spirals into something far darker. Their methods lead to collateral damage, questionable choices, and the eventual horrific death of Leon Harper, the daughter of Roy Harper, aka Red Arrow. That moment devastated readers and the characters alike, cementing Cry for Justice as one of the most controversial and disturbing Justice League stories. It's a grim reminder that sometimes the greatest dangers come not from villains, but from good intentions gone horribly wrong. Next up from 2008, we have Final Crisis. When Darkseid wins, the entire universe loses. That's the central premise of Final Crisis, which sees the Lord of Apocalypse unleashing the anti-life equation on Earth. Nearly all of humanity is enslaved, their free will stripped away, and even the Justice League is helpless against the overwhelming tide. The heroes fight desperately, but every victory is undercut by massive losses. Among the most chilling moments is the brutal death of Martian Manhunter, one of the League's founding members. Batman himself sacrifices his life to stop Darkseid, seemingly killed in the process. The world descends into an apocalyptic nightmare where hope feels all but extinguished. Final Crisis is less about triumphant heroes and more about survival in the face of inevitable doom. Next, from 1998, Justice League The Nail. This Elseworld tale asks a simple question. What if Superman never existed? When the Kent's truck gets a flat tire, they never find baby Kal-El. Without Superman, the Justice League still forms, but it lacks the unifying hope and inspiration he provides. The absence changes everything. Heroes are hunted by fearful governments. Public trust evaporates and conspiracies take root. Villains manipulate events. Many heroes are killed, and society turns against its own protectors. The Nail is a masterclass in showing how fragile the Justice League is without Superman's presence, and how dark the world becomes when fear and paranoia rule the world. Next, from 2013, we have Forever Evil. In Forever Evil, the Justice League is completely removed from the board after the Crime Syndicate, which is their evil counterparts from Earth 3, conquers Earth. Without the League, the villains take over, plunging the world into chaos and destruction. What follows is a nightmare scenario where the protectors of Earth are gone and humanity is left defenseless. What makes the story especially dark is who steps up in their absence. Not heroes, but villains like Lex Luthor, Captain Cold, and Black Adam. It's a brutal shakeup that forces readers to question the very concept of heroism and whether Earth can survive without its brightest champions. Forever Evil is the Justice League at its most powerless and the world at its most vulnerable. Next, from 1986, Legends. While not as bloody as other stories on this list, Legends delivers a different kind of darkness. The fear of society turning against its heroes. Darkseid manipulates events on Earth, making heroes appear dangerous and untrustworthy. Governments move to outlaw vigilantes. Propaganda floods the media, and ordinary citizens begin to see the Justice League not as protectors, but as threats. The chilling aspect of Legends lies in its believability. Heroes live and die on trust. And once that trust is broken, everything else begins to unravel. Even without death and destruction on a massive scale, the story captures the terrifying idea of what happens when the world rejects its protectors. Next, from 2015, Justice League Gods and Monsters. This reimagining of the Justice League flips the script on what it means to be a hero. Superman isn't raised by the Kents, he's the son of Zod. Batman isn't Bruce Wayne, it's Kirk Langstrom transformed into a vampire. Wonder Woman isn't Diana from Themyscira, she's Becca, a warrior from the New Gods. Together, they form a Justice League that rules with intimidation and fear. The darkness here doesn't come from outside threats, but from within the heroes themselves. They still call themselves the Justice League, but their version of justice is brutal and authoritarian. It's a dystopian look at how easily the idea of justice can be corrupted when power isn't tempered by compassion. And from 2015, we have the Darkseid War. The Darkseid War is one of the most epic and darkest Justice League stories of the modern era. When the League is caught in the middle of a cosmic war between Darkseid and the Anti-Monitor, the fallout is devastating. The heroes are pushed beyond their limits, forced into godlike roles that strip away their humanity. Batman becomes the god of knowledge. Superman is corrupted by apocalypse. The Flash is bound to the Black Racer, the embodiment of death itself. What makes Darkseid War so dark isn't just the massive stakes, but the way power twists and corrupts the League from the inside out. Their godhood doesn't make them better heroes, it just makes them less human, more dangerous, and almost unrecognizable. It's a story that shows even ultimate power can be a curse and how fragile the Justice League is when they lose touch with the very people they swore to protect. And there you have it, the 10 darkest Justice League stories ever told. These stories prove that even the world's greatest heroes are not immune to betrayal, tragedy, and despair. What do you think is the darkest Justice League story ever told? Drop your comments in the comments below. Or what do you think is the darkest Justice League story ever written? Drop your picks in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into comic book history, and don't forget, ring that bell so you never miss another episode. Until next time, I am Chip Hazard. This is Movement Radio, and I'll see you in the next issue. Peace.